Hi, everybody. This is Narelle with Together Healing, and I'm here today because, hello, I wanted to do my first YouTube video. I'm really excited. Uh, so, the reason it took so long to kind of get to the first video is because my plans to do a video are kind of public. So, my content is generally supposed to be out amongst people, not to engage with them, but it's just how I formatted everything. And right now, people are wearing masks, and I don't want to wear a mask during my YouTube videos. So I am in the process of reformatting my plans and trying to see what I can do without being out in that area and doing what I plan to do. But we're going to get through it and figure it out. And for this particular one, I am using an audio from a few months ago, and I ended up transcribing it. And I'm just going to be kind of reading off a few things from it and exploring it here on this video with you because I didn't want to keep waiting to put out another video. So this one is called Shut Up, Don't Look. And it's pretty much all about when you commit to doing something with yourself or for yourself, and then you don't follow through. What happens? Why is that? And what it means. So when you don't keep your word to yourself, it cancels out the momentum. It goes against the work that you've done up until this point. And it denies you the opportunity to go deeper and expand it. If you're up here, you don't want to create discord in directing your energy. Think about this example of if you have somebody that you're supposed to go somewhere with, like family or a friend or something, and you've been planning it, like you're excited, right? And so you're ready to go, you finally get ready to go, you're dressed, and the person doesn't show up for 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, maybe they hit traffic, maybe they are just not, they didn't leave when they said they were going to leave. These are common things. It's cool. You're not all the way down here with that momentum. You're not feeling like, dang, I really, I shouldn't even go. You're not at that point yet. 15 minutes go by and the person still doesn't show up. You're kind of probably a little tense, like what's going on? This person's not saying anything. You know, maybe they really are stuck in traffic. Maybe they got stopped or something. Who knows what's going on? Maybe they got gas. So, half hour goes by. This person's probably not going to show up. This person is not showing up. They didn't say anything. Maybe I should make other plans with somebody else. Maybe I should go and go out by myself. Maybe I should go to sleep. Maybe I'm just done with the whole going out situation. Maybe I didn't really want to go, but I was just going to go for whatever reason. And I'm just changing the plans because the momentum is down. Like, you got really excited. You got all dolled up. You're looking good. You're smelling good. You're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, like, come on. So now it's an hour past the time. That's just flatline. Like, there's no momentum anymore. You're done with it. You're done. So at that point, it's pretty much just that it missed the expectation. The expectation was here, and then it just kept missing the mark. And the more things flop, the more the momentum drops. So think of like working for somebody. if you go to work for someone, then you keep missing the mark. The mark is here, and you're just like, or what happens? You get chopped, you get fired, you're done. You're done. Nobody's gonna keep expecting you to meet the mark if you keep missing it, and you're gonna keep your job. It's not gonna happen unless something else is going on. You're just not gonna keep it. So that point, thinking about this disappointment that comes along with engaging with other people in this way, like, it's kind of easier to forgive ourselves and deal with ourselves a certain way because we know ourselves, and who knows, maybe we weren't going to fulfill the thing to begin with on our own. Like, maybe you plan for something, or you say, I'm going to do this, and it's just talk. A lot of times people say things like, I really want to do this, but they don't mean it. They kind of would like to do it, but the idea of putting in the work is like, I probably don't want to do this. But, and so when things flop, it's kind of like, it's fine. But when it's in relation to other people, there goes that disappointment, or that anger, or frustration, or just, I'm not talking to this person anymore, I'm not doing business, or whatever the case is. It's kind of easier for us to handle these things when we make them with ourselves. So, we're not going to hold a grudge against ourselves, but we can potentially hold grudges against other people. And so you're not going to punish yourself like, oh, well, I'm not going to eat tomorrow because, I didn't fulfill this promise. Like, it's not that serious. Most of the time, people are just gonna let it slide off and maybe never get to it. But it's important to keep the plans that we make with ourselves. So some ways that we might find this manifesting are, besides like canceling on yourself, making excuses, putting ourselves in the position to settle for something else instead. At that point, it's like saying, I don't have the faith to move forward on the strength of my inherent knowledge. I doubt my capabilities, or it's impossible. Another word for that is I can't do it. Sometimes you can do it. You can find a way, you can make a way, but when you believe that something is impossible, you automatically negate your abilities to attract it and your ability to potentially see it through. So the more you give into the limited fear-based ideas from a place of faithlessness, the more examples of it you'll see around you. If you look for lack, you'll see scarcity. All of these things creep into your experience and create this confirmation for you. What does this remind you of? Probably reminds you of the first example where, or second example where, the person doesn't show up. You lose that momentum. The momentum is here to start, but then it's like slowly, the more that you're disappointed in the lapse of time, it goes down, it drops, it's done, flatlines. You're not as excited anymore. You probably don't want to go out anymore. You're less energetic about doing something, like you're not really feeling it. So let's take a moment to personify the good experience in this situation that could potentially happen, but you're stuck in this mentality. So the good experience is going to be over here. Say it's like on the other side of the room looking at you. So the good experience is probably like, well, if she wants to believe that negative limited thought, then let her go on, live your worst life. So the idea behind that is, if you want to sit there and believe these things that can't work out for you or are not possible, then the good experience is not going to intervene and be like, hey, wait, you can experience this. This is possible. It's not going to work to convince you. You've already put in the work to believe the opposite. So nothing is going to save you. Allowing those thoughts to move you from your vision or goal takes you further from what you might want or intend. Sometimes we'll say, it's okay, it's fine. Like making excuses again. It's fine, it's okay, it's not meant to be. And sometimes it's not, but at the same time, when you make excuses for these thoughts, it just makes you think, well, how long will this be okay? This is the point where you choose growth or you choose to stay where you are. If you're going to look around, put yourself in a position where the people and things around you remind you of what is possible, rather than of the things that you don't see serving you. The things that you don't see serving your highest good or the potential. Why are you going to surround yourself with limitation? This is the part where don't look comes in. If you understand what you're doing from a certain place, don't look around for others to affirm you and approve you or even judge you or appreciate what you're doing. Don't look for these things to guide you or to guide your process. There's always going to be people who are going to be eager to push aside what you've come up with, whatever you said, and insert their personal fears and self-doubts. There's always going to be somebody ready to say the opposite of what you've just said. So no one will necessarily come for you to affirm you. Like, no one's necessarily going to come up to you and be like, oh, you did such a great job, or you're doing such great work, or, this is so impactful. This is important. You might get that, and that's wonderful. That's great. It feels really good. It feels good to hear good things. It's really inspiring sometimes, and it's motivating. Yeah, it's not wrong, but it kind of creates a hole in the foundation. It's something where you don't want it to be your driving or motivating force. You want to have that security. You don't want to let these things feed you, because that's feeding insecurity. It's not only just feeding like the ego, but it's feeding something that's unstable. It's setting you up to be in a position where if somebody says the opposite, you might take it a certain way. You want it to be where you are sure of the reason for what's going on. No matter how much sense you make, there's always going to be somebody that says it doesn't make sense. It's just human nature. And there's always going to be a Debbie Downer at some point. And sometimes we're our own Debbie Downers. We're our own biggest Debbie Downer. Like, not believing in yourself, not feeling affirmed in what you're doing, and bashing yourself for doing it. The more you affirm whatever it is for yourself, the more you'll find reasons to affirm your decisions. So if you take the stance of um, just going with whatever it is that you're planning to do, then you'll find more reasons to keep going with it. It's that momentum being built. It's that pedaling the bike forward, and you gain that momentum, you gain that confidence. It builds over time. So, whatever it is, it's kind of like the opposite effect of making an excuse, but without limiting beliefs and without the digging for things, right? You're not digging for things, things float to the top. It's going more with the flow, which is nice. You don't want to fight all the time through your process. Sometimes what you know just has to be shared within you and stored as sacred within you. Because if you share it, not everyone will get it. It just goes back to that whole thing. And to that, I'd say shut up, don't look, continue. Stay true to where you're going. If you stop to explore all the other paths that you can take, it might take you further from where you're going. You can see, that's great. It's great to be visual. It's great to be aware of your surroundings. That's so important to be, have this perspective, and also to see what's coming and what's potentially out there. Like, you have to know your surroundings, but don't get lost and don't be blinded. And there's always going to be beautiful, vibrant, exciting things around you. There's always going to be something, maybe on the next path, that looks really great. Like they said, the grass looks greener on the other side, right? But remember, there are beautiful poisonous plants, there are beautiful toxic people, and there are delicious chemical-filled treats. So stay sharp. So when you have a prior commitment or a singular focus, that's when everything's going to be stronger. That's when all the temptations are going to be heightened. That's when everything is going to look good. Everything's going to smell good. Everything is going to be like the perfect thing that you've always wanted. And that's when you have to be very sharp. The grandest things come out during that time. It's like when you finally are in that space of like you have your single focus, that's when all the things from your past are going to pop up like, yes, the things that you wanted before that you don't necessarily want anymore. They're going to be at their peak ripeness. So this is the test. If you acknowledge and give these things some fuel, you might soon be dead. You might soon be in a relationship that doesn't serve you after all. You might be in a situation where you're gaining 10 more pounds. And the list goes on. So giving a little bit of leeway, it can kind of open the door for a lot of other potential things to see and account for. So you overall gain a responsibility for seeing those things and engaging those things in some cases. Also, the little things embed deeper into you, and they become habits, and then they become a part of your way of expression, your way of being, of carrying yourself. So it kind of becomes a part of you. And then it becomes harder to recognize. It becomes harder to remove these things. It's like it goes into your subconscious. And then you haphazardly have a breach that is created. So don't haphazardly have the breach that's created in what you've established for yourself. Be aware and allow things to develop according to your plan without having to go back on your word to yourself. Because you don't want to go back on your word to yourself. You want to keep your word to yourself. Because what you say to yourself also matters just as much as the things you say to other people. India Ari, she says, the words that come from your mouth, you're the first to hear. Speak words of beauty and you will be there. No matter what anybody says, what matters most is what you think of yourself. So those things that you hear first are very important. So when I talked about the Debbie Downer thing, you're speaking those things to yourself, but you don't want to talk to toxic people. You're letting yourself be toxic to yourself. Come on. Anyway, if your mind is open, you'll receive. But when you don't have faith, for whatever reason, whatever you fear or allow to move you and stir you will ensue. And when I talk about faith, I don't just mean like from a religious standpoint. I mean as far as loyalty, as far as reinforcement, as far as seeing something and being loyal to that thing that you see. You're looking for it to be fulfilled. Tell it to shut up. Don't look. Continue. Acknowledge and engage your commitment to yourself because you are worth it. And that's all I really wanted to share today. I hope that that was reflective in some way. I hope that you were able to maybe identify something within it that may be of benefit to your situation. This whole thing that I'm doing through my YouTube channel is dedicated to holistic health. So it's all aspects of life that contribute to your overall well-being and health. And so I think that that definitely does, because it's relationship to self. It's what you're taking in and what you're allowing to grow. So with that, here we are together, healing.